Stop worshiping celebrities so much. Just don't listen, don't pay attention. I remember right around September 11th, Ja Rule was on MTV. That's what they said. They said, we got Ja Rule on the phone. Let's see what Ja's thoughts are on this tragedy. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this, nigga? This is ridiculous. I don't want to dance. I'm scared to death. I want some answers that Ja Rule might not have right now. I think when bad shit happens to me, I'll be in the crib like, oh my God, this is terrible. Could somebody please find Ja Rule, get hold of this motherfucker so I can make sense of all this. Where is Ja? God, me Ja Rule. I don't even know why people listen to me. I'll say anything, nigga. I've done commercials for Coke and Pepsi. I don't give a fuck what comes out of my mouth. I just say what it takes. Whatever it takes, that's what I'm saying. If you want to know the truth, can't even taste the difference. Surprise! All I know was Pepsi paid me most recently, so tastes better. It's pretty much how the game goes. I'm just being real, man. There's too much goo-gagging over celebrities. People don't know what's fake and what's real anymore. That's why Bill Cosby got in trouble. Look what happened to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby said some real shit, and the whole world freaked out on him. For what? For having an opinion? Just because he was selling pudding pops for the last 40 years, people forget that he's a nigga from Philly in the projects, and he might say some real shit from time to time. It's not that big of a deal. I spoke at my old high school, and I told them kids straight up, if you guys are serious about making it out of this ghetto, you gotta focus, you gotta stop blaming white people for your problems, and you've gotta learn how to rap or play basketball or something, nigga. You're trapped. You are trapped. Either do that or sell crack. That's your only option. That's the only way I've ever seen it work. You better get to entertaining these white people, nigga. Get to dancing. Go on out there and be somebody. I just hope they listen. This shit is ridiculous. People worship television. They worship this shit. You know, like if you watch a movie, right? Say you're watching a movie and one character says to another character, say, hey, what's your number, man? What's the other character always say? 555, 5555. You know why we got to do that? Because stupid ass people go to the movies and then go home and try to call the characters that they just saw. Hello, is Indiana Jones here? No, motherfucker, he's fake. It's not his number. And to be honest, this is the worst time in history to be a black celebrity. Fuck, they locking all our stars up. It's hot right now for black celebrities. I knew it was bad when Kobe got in trouble. I said, this is a wrap for us. He's one of the most wholesome dudes we had. Lock him up, everything. And Kobe kept it together. Thank God he held his game together, because if he was cracking under pressure and getting like 6 points a game, the whole LA would have been like, that nigger is guilty. Kobe was playing his ass off. He was playing like his freedom depended on that shit. You see this motherfucker in them games, this nigga's trying to beat that case on the court. Like the judge threw him the ball, like, play for your freedom.
But I don't think it's as simple as that. The thing is that Ellen is not a popular person. She's kind of a rotten, smelly, awful,
she sucked when I met her.
She's not a nice lady.
Idiot. She's. I wish we were on XM so I could describe her completely.
Of course,
but I can't.
Wait, what have you heard?
The FCC cannot, would not let her be accurately described.
This is interesting.
It would be like if a cop said who shot you and it was hard to be like, you got to take me off the air because I can't tell you.
Jimmy met her in Vegas, so this is really interesting because he got the big blow off.
She was doing something for XM, and we were out there for XM. So I was like, I'll walk up, and she was being filmed. I'm like, hey, I get my pictures with everybody. It's just what I do.
You didn't get a picture with me. I've met you twice now.
Yeah, but I'm too nervous to ask.
Okay.
So I walked up to Ellen, and I'm like, hey, I'm a comic. I'm also doing something with XM. I just wanted to get a quick picture. She's like, oh no, I can't. I'm in the middle of shooting, but she wasn't, and I wanted to spit in her face.
Yeah, she's
I
really
give her a good trashing if that's any consolation.
Good for
she's-
you.
I know people that work for her as writers, and she's dope and mean to people.
Oh,
and
easy,
stuff
Lou,
like
on the
that.
language.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's a spoil sport.
She's a real ninny.
She's a right rotter, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she's a right rotter.
Yeah, she's a...
Yes, most definitely.
They went to commercial. I was reading recently, and she yelled at her writers, "Why did you write that for me?"
Yeah, she's really got gallons of.
Yeah, that
pee.
had made the press last week. I believe.
Was she a good stand-up in a day?
Yes, I think she was
Is
a...
that okay to say?
She was a good
Yes.
stand-up. Okay.
She was fine. She was all right. I know she never made me laugh really, but because she's got that way about her.
Being a leather.
Well, no, not that one. Yeah, I don't. Who cares about that? But the fact that she has this sort of mo means that people pile it on.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, look at her working. She shouldn't be working. And whatever that story. You know what? I've had a show where I had writers, and I'd look at them and say, "You guys stink, and I hate you." So the stories about how tough she is on the writers, that I take with a grain of salt because
Well, I guess this was.
there's a natural. You got to crack the whip, and also there's a natural thing where the person who's on camera is taking the hits for bad jokes.
But would you do it in front of a
True,
live
yeah.
audience?
What's that?
Would you do it in front of a live audience?
Oh no,
I
never.
think that's what the story was
really?
about. Yeah, she did a joke and it sucked, and she goes, "Why would you write that for me?" And she was dead serious
Wow, I don't know.
while they were in break.
Yeah, no, she sucks.
You had good writers on Lucky Louie, man.
Every one of them.
They were funny, man.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you call lesbians in Australia?
Stiff tongues.
Stiff tongues.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hollywood celebs, shut the fuck up. This week in celebrity virtue signaling, Hollywood's A-list, and by A I mean anonymous, be honest, you didn't recognize half of them either, got together and made an ISIS hostage video to solve racism.
I take responsibility. Every not so funny joke.
Every time I remained silent,
I take responsibility.
Thank you, Hollywood. I mean, who better to end systemic oppression than a cartoon turtle, lesbo Steve Jobs, and this chick, who I'm told is Kesha? This is the most insincere, empty, self-serving piece of slacktivism since, I don't know, 3 months ago when they did the exact same shit. So are these the celebs that can't sing? And I know what you're thinking, actors, just shut the fuck up and say the words the ugly people wrote for you. Unfortunately, that's what they did here. Yeah, they didn't even write it. How are you going to tell us to take responsibility when you can't even take responsibility for your own statement? Matter of fact, they couldn't even take responsibility to memorize the lines, which is exactly what they're overpaid to do for a living. You need a teleprompter to say why racism is bad? I cannot believe they're reading the lines. This bitch brought her bifocals, and so did this bitch.
I will no longer allow stereotypes to be uttered in my presence.
You will no longer allow stereotypes? You play the sassy gay sidekick in every movie. Stereotypes paid for your house in the hills where you avoid black people. No stereotypes? Stanley, you're a 60-year-old Italian man. How else are you going to describe the people that move into your neighborhood? And Aaron Paul, you are breaking my fucking heart, man. What are you doing?
I take responsibility.
How about you take a sip of water? What's up with your voice? You play Pinkman, not Batman. Relax. At least I know who he is. Some of these celebrities I've never seen before.
every time I remained silent,
Who the fuck is this guy? Anthony Boring? Speaking of parts unknown, what's up with your hair? You coming with a pineapple? Actors, this is why we don't believe you when you're at the Oscars babbling on about the horrors of the dairy industry. We know it's self-serving, performative bullshit. You get an award for pretending to be something you're not, and now you're up there pretending to be something you're not. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio goes on about global warming, but he probably punched a hole in the ozone layer flying pussy around the planet. Why do you think they call the airline Virgin? It's disingenuous. You don't care about these issues. You care about the bag. Disney professed their support for Black Lives Matter, but then reduced John Boyega's role in the Chinese release of Star Wars because it was better for the target audience. And China, you're okay with Yoda in the movie, but not a black guy? Disney also has long advocated for gay pride, but then cut out the gay scenes from the Chinese release of Bohemian Rhapsody. China, you're okay with a bat in your mouth, but not a dick? Now, don't get me wrong. Market the movie in the way that makes you and your shareholders the most money. Get your cash. But if you're gonna bend to a totalitarian dictatorship that doesn't value human rights, save us the fucking lecture about ethics.
There's a lot of crying going on out there. Jesus fucking Christ. I've never seen so many fucking adults crying in my life. What is with all the fucking crying? I get it. Your person didn't win, but Jesus Christ. You're making the left look horrible. Oh, I'm going to Canada. I love this shit where people are like threatening, like Cher Cher goes, if Trump wins, I'm going to go to Canada. It's like, who gives a fuck? You know, I didn't even know you were still here. Look, I'm not saying I'm happy. I wasn't happy with either one of these people, all right? But the level of fucking arrogance of celebrities during all of this shit was just at such a whole other level. Do you realize how fucking arrogant you are that you're making this, you're threatening that if your candidate doesn't get in, you're going to leave the country, and your ego is so fucking big. You think somebody's going like, well, I want to vote for Trump, but if he gets elected, we lose Cher. I got you, babe. The fuck out of here. Her and Barbara Streisand, really? You're going to leave fucking Malibu to go live in Manitoba? Really? You fucking... Go ahead and do it. I'll give you $40 for your house. That ought to get you 9,000 fucking acres up there. Go on, go move up to Yellowknife. The dumbest shit. But I literally think, like, that's the level of ego that you have to have as like an actor, a comedian, or something like that, literally to, I mean, I guess I talk about it, but I fuck around, I trash people. I never told you guys who to vote for or whatever. I just trashed them both. I tried to evenly, but that fucking level that people take it to, where they just start, I was on Conan last night, which was it was a really difficult show to do last night because, people are like fucking stunned out here. They can't believe it. As they can't believe it in San Francisco, Berkeley, fucking New York City, and all that type of shit. So it was kind of weird. It was like going on like right after a funeral, I felt. So, but I really think, this is just my own opinion. What do you guys think about celebrities endorsing a candidate? Because I think the candidates, they also kind of reach out to people a little, like, I've never understood that. Like, why would I be like, who are some of the people, some of the fucking people that have done it? Like, I just don't understand. It's, I was going to vote this way, but the guy from My Three Kings told me to do, or the movie where he tries to get the Sky Miles. The guy who did the movie about this guy getting the Sky Miles is telling me this should be the person to lead the free world. I got a lot of feelings on gun control, but let me check in with Sean Penn first, see what he has to say. The level of fucking arrogance that you have to have. I don't know, it's a fine line, because it's like, all right, well, it's good that they're involved politically. But, like, there's a lot that once you're famous, then they're actually going to put a camera on you, and then you're going to start talking. It's the same thing. It's when you become a huge fan of your team. You're a big fan of your team, right? And, you're always sitting up in the nosebleeds, and then all of a sudden you get a part on a sitcom, and then they got you sitting down there, and then your team's doing well, and next thing you know, they're sticking the microphone in the face of an actor. Right? To be or not to be. Hey, what do you think Buffalo has to do here in the second half? Well, I'd like to see him checking down a little bit. It's like, I don't understand. I mean, you know what? In defense of celebrities, regular people do the same thing on the news, and they get away with it because you don't know what their names are. You see it all the time on these, when you watch the news, if you ever watch the news, they always go, we went out on the street to ask people what they thought about this new Target that's going up. I think it's going to take away jobs. I just think the downtown area, we don't need that. There's always that fucking person, right? So maybe that's what it is. That person is no different than any of those other people. It's just, I don't know. I think once you get to a certain level, you kind of need to gracefully shut the fuck up. All right.